to discuss? All right, jump up.
So 45.70 was a big level on the chart. It's a big level on the daily chart. Everyone's been kind of watching it. And so this morning I didn't get short on the first. I actually got short on the first break. I scalped it for like 10, 15 cents, and it didn't go away. Like I talked to Steven about it, and he said if it doesn't go down right away, you want to be careful because it could be like an overcrowded trade. So I covered. It came back up, and I got re-short again on that little bear flag. I basically.
Okay. So any news on Facebook today?
Not that I know.
Okay. What's the big picture for this? What's the picture for Facebook recently?
It's been in a downtrend since pretty much that earnings day. It has pretty nasty head and shoulders. The neckline is pretty much at 45.70 level.
Okay. What's the average volume, average daily volume in it?
It's about like 3 or 4 million. I'm not sure exactly.
Okay. What is so 50 million? Okay. And what is the short interest in the stock?
I'm not exactly sure. I know it doesn't have a huge short interest.
And what's the average range in the stock?
It's about like $1.60. Okay. It's just on my level 2.
What's that?
I didn't have them written down, which I should have. It was just I saw it on my level 2 over the past 8
And what is what are the next technical levels in this?
I'm watching this 42.50 for like a bigger picture range. It's like big revenue candle right there. Obviously, I don't think it's going to go today. I'm watching the whole numbers pretty much. For me, I'm more of a momentum trader, like a scalper. So I was just playing the momentum breaks and just like every time I consolidate a little bit, break back consolidation, I just go short. And then as soon as it like slow down, I cover. Just every little like consolidate.
Any reason you think it might be weak today?
Last week it was very weak. Like it was after that big red day, like it was going up, but every day, like those days, it came off the highs pretty substantially. And then on Friday, it pretty much came down almost to that neckline. So talking to Steve about it on Friday. So watch Facebook on Monday. Like it could either bounce from that level and catch a bunch of people short, or it could break and set up.
Where is it right now intraday?
It's about 44.
Okay. So what was your trade again? So
I got short on the first break, and I covered it for like 15 cents because it like didn't go right away, and then I re-shorted up in like the 70s or 80s, and then then I re-shorted at like 62, and then I have a lot of in-house on this. Like, probably I overtraded this stock and made it harder than it really was. It's a problem I have. But pretty much every single little consolidation you can see, I got shown right below. And then when it came up to this 44.70, 80 level after the low was made, I got pretty short and I covered it. I've just been pretty much scalping it. I have a problem holding on for the time frame.
Well, what do you want to see in that consolidation to get you to sort of hit the new low?
See, like, it came back up to that level like a couple times. Right now it's basically about VWAP, but now it made a higher low, and then in that last there made another higher low. So I'm not as like gung-ho on the short side anymore.
I don't think you answered my question. What do you want to see? You said you're getting short all the consolidations?
Yeah.
So what do you want to see in the consolidations to get short?
I just want to see the tape week, like maybe a held offer like sticking up. And then as soon as it breaks that consolidation out, if it doesn't flush like immediately, I'm just covering right away for like 2 cents.
So you want it to be weak in the consolidation, right?
Yeah, weak in the consolidation. Like every little like pop up 10, 15 cents, like it kind of pulls off 5 cents and comes back and fails again. Just pretty much want to see weakness on the tape, and so give me more confidence to hit that.
So what does weakness in the tape in consolidation look like?
So like say like it comes, hits a low, pops up 15 cents, and then it like drops 5 or 6 cents off that, then comes back, and can never like break, almost like a held offer if it like breaks that offer and goes like 3 cents higher and drops right below it. Pretty much don't want to see like bids stepping up, and you never want to see like bids stepping up above like consolidation period.
All right, so you don't want to see, after the down period, you don't want to see it really go up that much. All right, so you want to have a shallow pullback. That's the first thing. You want to see an absence of people paying the offer at certain prices. You want to see those bids dropping relatively easily. You want to see certainly. So those are things that can show some weakness. Stock goes down. It doesn't retrace very much. It doesn't go up very much. Maybe it goes up 20 cents when you thought it would go up 50 cents. Just to sort of use an example, and it only doesn't go up that much. You certainly can notice at the top of the range that people are just unwilling to pay offers. You certainly notice on the bid side that it just drops out pretty easily from the top of the range to the bottom of the range. That would be something that might indicate some sort of weakness in the consolidation period. It would be optimal if it gets really tight.
Yeah,
and you can clearly see if it gets above a price, well, I would be wrong on the short side. And you can clearly see if it got below a price, it's probably going to go down. That would be optimal in a consolidation, in a bear flag consolidation. That would be optimal. You do want to sort of look out for things like how much of the, you should say to yourself, all right, it's gone down from 45.70 down to 45. I think it'd be pretty weak if it only goes up 25 cents. Start to form that in your head, and it only goes up 25 cents, opposed to, well, I think it'd be weak if it goes up to 45.25 and goes to 45.60. That second example is much stronger.
And you can see like pretty much all the way until like 9:45 those little consolidations. And it broke below them, like it flashed like 15, 20 cents right away. And after that first low, it's not like flashing super high every time.
Yeah, so it's not making very impressive new lows, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like I'm looking for like no hesitation, everyone like slamming the bids, like no one's paying the offers, no one's trying to hold stuff in front.
Okay. All right, so we had a level. I think that 45 is kind of a level too, right?
Yeah, it's second.
But it was kind of a level.
There's kind of consolidation. Like,
looked like it kind of ripped right through there. I think on the medium-term charts, that 45 is a little bit of a level. Anyone else think that 45 is a little bit of a level in the medium term?
shouldn't have consolidated it there.
Yeah, I'm surprised it just ripped right through there, Brandon. That's what I didn't get that. That's interesting. I don't think the fundamental. I actually think the fundamental argument has been weakened in a majority of the. I should say this. I think more people feel less confident in Facebook's fundamentals than they did before this past earnings season. So when I asked you, what's sort of the bigger picture, I think the bigger picture for this Facebook is the earnings before it really blew out earnings. People felt very, very confident about their fundamentals. And I think that perhaps this last earnings report, that people are feeling less confident about the fundamentals for Facebook, and that's reflected in the stock price. So there was I'd shade towards a little bit disappointing in their core business based on their last report. So it wasn't as strong as the quarter before. I think that's part of the story for Facebook. All right, thanks. All right, what else we got? All right, step up.
STY has quite a big level here at that, yeah, exactly 45.70 on the daily chart, and I was watching that for a break below, and I missed kind of the first move down, but Patrick and Jim called out a buy.
All right, what's the big level you were watching?
70 cents.
45.70.
Yeah.
That's just a coincidence between Facebook and that.
Yeah. It is.
You can't just call it the 45.70 trade.
Maybe we can try it in some other size. Anyway, Patrick and Jim call out that there was a buyer.
I would guess that wouldn't work.
You don't think so?
Just getting short a lot of stocks below 45.70. I would just guess that's not a good strategy.
Maybe we can back test it. Okay. They call out a buyer at 11 and 10 cents, and he was there for a lot longer than I thought. And you can see it kind of made lower highs before it broke below that. So that I think was a good opportunity to get short with very little risk.
All right, what's the next important technical level on this stock?
I say 42. I guess that's a bit of a stretch, but I don't really see that much until 42.
What's the short interest in the stock?
It's high. I'm not actually sure.
What's the average range in the stock?
Couple of dollars. I'm not sure. It means a lot.
What's the average daily volume in the stock?
I don't know, to be honest. It trades a lot. I'd like to say 12 now. Or
okay, so
you can kind of see when that guy drops, it flushed immediately down to 60 cents. Lower at 12.15. So yeah, I'm fat right now, but I would look to get short again at a good price.
any fresh news in this today?
No.
Robert, why are the social media stocks, in your opinion, so weak today? There's no news in this sector today. No calls, no downgrade of the sector, nothing. All right, so look, we got to clean something up because this is just, I know you're one of the harder workers here, but this message apparently is not getting through. So you can't trade a stock if you don't know certain facts about the stock. You can't trade a stock if you don't know certain facts about the stock. You can't ever trade a stock without certain facts. You can't. It's like showing up to play basketball without your shorts on. You just can't do it. And you all are inexperienced, and you want to develop skill, and you want to get more experience, but you're not developing good experience if you don't know certain things about a stock as you're trading it, because it matters. It matters how much volume a stock actually does. There's a big difference between a stock doing 50 million shares of volume and a stock doing 10 million shares of volume. It will move differently. A stock with 50 million shares is probably going to move less than a stock with 10 million shares. The volatility will be different. And if you don't know that going into a stock, you're really not gaining as much out of the experience as you should. Not knowing exactly what the short interest in the stock is not getting enough out of the experience trading live that you could. There's a big difference between a stock having a 15% short interest and a stock having a 30% short interest as opposed to a stock having a 5% short interest. SETY has a very, very large short interest. It's going to be more volatile. Okay, and you need to know that going in. The average true range for a particular stock is very, very significant. Some stocks, 60-cent move is a big deal. Some at $3 is an average day. You need to know that going in. Okay, if I go to play pickup basketball and I do not show up with my shorts on, what are people going to say about me? That would be nice. All right, you have to know where the next important technical level is. All right, you have to know that. You have to know not just where the 4750 is a big level, but where is the next important technical level. All right, you need to know what the news is in a particular sector or a particular stock, and is there something new about it before you trade it. Okay, if you do not have that information, okay, it is not a complete experience. And you're going to sit there after being here for 6 months, having half trades, half experiences, and leaving a lot of learning on the table. Okay, and so if you make a trade without knowing this, that is a fundamentally bad trade. It's a fundamentally bad trade. Cannot happen. You shouldn't let it happen to yourself. You shouldn't let anyone. If you're sitting next to somebody and they don't know an answer to one of these things, you shouldn't let them actually provide that answer to you as well. And it's not just about technical levels. Technical levels are a part of what we're doing here. Okay? And so for the next week, every trade that you are going to make, you are going to write down the average volume that the stock actually has each day. You're going to write down the average true range the stock has. You're going to write down the short interest for the stock. You're going to write down the important technical levels for each stock. You're going to tell me what the most important news item is for that stock. You're going to do this on every trade. Okay? If you do not make this on a trade, we are going to shut you down for an entire week. In your review, in your review that you guys do, in your daily review, you are to include all of this information for the trades that you're actually reviewing. Okay, let's not actually play basketball without our shorts on. Any questions about that? Okay, thanks.